I've been navigating a lot of difficult family challenges right now. My nan's in hospital and we don't think she's got too much longer to live. And some other family things have been happening as well. And it's in these really challenging times that I realized how vital it is to have a support system that can sustain you through these really challenging times. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the importance of letting everyone in your life off the hook from being your number one support person and building a really strong connection with the non-physical realm and with your spirit guides and with your true inner self, and building that relationship stronger so that when hard times come and the people in your life can't support you, that you have that inner strength and that inner support active within you already. I realized that I needed this really badly in my life when basically shit hit the fan. Things got really hectic, and the thing is with people is that we're all really fickle. We are all going through our own challenges all the time, and to expect any one single person in our life to be there for us all the time is unreasonable, and it's not practical, because when things do go wrong, often that close person with you is going through the same things that you are because you're connected, and generally it's about the same person that means a lot to you. So to learn how to build that connection with yourself, that is the true power that you need to get through these challenging times. But more so than just challenging times, it's great to have that inner support for even the small challenges that we go through. To turn inwards and find your own answers before reaching out to other people, there is such strength and autonomy in that. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you tools and techniques to help amplify this real strong connection that you can have with your inner being. And I'll be honest, I have birthed this video because I was pissed off with everyone in my life, basically, because I was struggling really hard with some stuff, and I started telling myself all these stories like they should be there for me. I've been there for them, and I was there for them when I couldn't even hold myself up. And we start telling ourselves all these reasons why people should do something for us. We are the only ones that are responsible for our happiness. And when hard times come, to expect people to be there for us is kind of a dangerous thing to do. Well, not dangerous, but it's not ideal, because what if they can't be there for you? Then what are you going to do? And if you're not used to going inwards to find those answers and to find that peace and comfort and support and knowingness that everything's going to work out for you, if you don't have that already going on, it can be a really rough ride when really challenging times hit you and people just can't show up for you in the way that you wish they would. So this started for me when I was I was in that state of frustration, in that state of like, oh, I just really want someone to show up for me, check on me, make sure I'm okay. And it came in that moment. I was like, all right. And I laid down and I imagined all the people in my life that I was putting vibrational pressure on. I wasn't saying it to them out loud, but I was thinking all these things about them. And I got out all the people in my life that I thought should be supporting me. And I got out a pair of scissors. And in my imagination, I imagined all these cords to these people. And I got the scissors out and I cut the cord. Cut the cord between me and all these people in my life. And then I decided to imagine all of my spirit guides above me from a higher perspective and around me. But I decided to start to envision the cords and the support system, envision the cords coming down from my guides straight to me. And I envisioned myself connected from the center of the earth, this white rod of light beaming up from the center of the earth through my body and into the heavens. And I just imagined that strong light absolutely centering me and connecting me to the earth and to the heavens and to all that is, and to all of my spirit guides and all that support that I have in the non-physical realm. And I imagined myself strong and centered and not alone, because we are never alone. There is so much going on in the non-physical realm that so many of us are just not aware of, but it is there. And our eyes and our senses, most of us aren't attuned to that. And that is what this video is about. Because I promise you, friends, really hard times will come, but this is the time to prepare for that. You know, like everyone's going to pass. Well, none of us are getting out of here alive, for one. So everyone that you do love will pass on eventually. And if you're alive for that, when that happens, you're going to want this support system, because people just can't give you the same amount of support that the non-physical realm can. And it puts pressure on relationships, and it's not sustainable, and you will be left feeling very alone from time to time if you are leaning on people. So over the last few weeks, when my nan's been in hospital and shit's been hitting the fan left, right and center, anytime my emotions start to burr up inside of me, the number one thing that I will do is not call somebody. Not immediately. Yes, there will be times when you are prompted from spirit to call somebody who can support you. But what I'm teaching today is, before you make the phone call, is to go inwards and find your center. And it's from that going inwards that your source and your guidance system will be able to send you the support that you actually need in that moment. And so for me, it has been about, like, there's been times when I've been in the car and received a phone call and had to pull over. And I would say to the person on the other side of the phone, I have to get off the phone right now. I can't talk right now. And that's because sometimes those emotions are just like going so quickly that you need to disengage from the world around you and go inwards. And so I'd get out of my car and I would literally lay on the ground. I would lay on the ground and feel the earth and just remember who I am. And speaking of death, we are all eternal beings, and our spirit cannot die. We are eternal. We are infinite beings. And so even when this physical body passes on, our spirit doesn't die. Who we are does not die. And we go back up into spirit and into the non-physical realm. But we still have access to our past loved ones, and we don't need to grieve in the way that so many of us think that we do. And in that state of deep grief, you can't access the energy where they now are. So when somebody passes on, if you are grieving hard that you will never see them again, or have contact with them again, or that they don't exist anymore, those feelings are indicators that you are choosing to focus on a perspective that is different to your source, that is different than what all that is sees this as. Because to the non-physical realm, your loved one is still very intimately interested in your life, and they're not leaving you. They are in non-physical now, and you can't physically see them or touch them anymore, but they aren't dead, and they aren't just gone. And your inner being knows that and can see that they are trying to communicate with you in those states of grief. And so your inner being is saying, hang on, the thoughts that are going through your mind right now are based on fear and doubt and grief, and they're not how we see this situation, because we can see what's really happening, and they're right there with you. And yes, they have passed on, but that was their decision, because I believe that everyone that does pass on gets to make that decision for themselves. There are so many times when people come back from fatal accidents, and I believe that people do get to make that choice if they want to come back. And that might not sit very well with a lot of people, but it actually, if you allow it, it can give you peace. Even if somebody in your life decided to pass on earlier than you wished they would. there is so much connection to be had with your loved one who has passed on that so many of us are not accessing because we believe that it's not possible, and we believe that they can't contact us or that we don't have the ability to. But we all do. We all have the ability to reach our loved ones from the beyond. And it may not be in the same way that it was when they were here. We may not be able to talk to them as freely as what we would with another person here on earth, but doesn't mean that we can't have a connection with them. And I am really, really grateful that I know that truth before my nan passes on, because she's still with us at the moment. But I know that I will be able to have access to her when she goes. And for that, I am so grateful. And that's why I'm making this video as well. I want to share with you all my perspective, because it's given me a lot of peace. And I'm yet to have lost anyone really close to me. I did lose a grandmother when I was younger, but I didn't see her often, so I wasn't as close to her as I am with my nan. So this will be a new experience for me. And I'm just glad that I've done the foreground work leading into it, knowing that I can access her. And also learning to lean on yourself and your inner guidance system and your spirit guides and the non-physical realm during hard times will amplify your ability to be able to connect with your loved ones when they have passed on, because you're tapping into your sixth sense. Yeah. And you are learning how to use a muscle essentially in consciously connecting with the divine, in consciously connecting with the non-physical realm. And that is a skill that everyone should learn to do, because we are all non-physical. That's where we came from. This is actually a physical dream. And when we re-emerge into the non-physical realm, that's reality, because then what happens is we go back into spirit and we stay there for, I think it's about 100-year cycle, and while we wait for everyone that was active in our lives to pass on as well, and then we move on into our next incarnation. And it's when we come into physical reality, we are actually encased. So I want you to imagine your spirit and your soul like this orb of light, a very, very, very big orb of light. And in the very center of your being is this physical projection. This is the dream that we are having, and it is happening inside of us. So we are not outside of ourselves. We are within ourselves, and we are all having this experience on the inside of ourselves. And this is a small perspective of all that is, a very, very small. We come into ourselves to play this character that we have, and we get to mold this character into whatever we want. And we get to live our life experience as this person, as this persona. And when we re-emerge into non-physical, we remember everything, and we rejoin with the collective all that is, but we are still intimately interested in the ones that we leave here on earth. And there is still so much communication to be had. So when it comes to people in your life with relationships, building relationships on the notion that I like you and I want you in my life, and I want to enjoy my time with you, and there will be times when I have the opportunity to support you, and that will be wonderful. And there will be times when you have the opportunity to support me, and that will be wonderful. But I don't expect you to sacrifice your well-being and your alignment to come and save me, and I won't come and save you to sacrifice my alignment. And that is such a healthy way to go into a relationship that fosters a relationship based on want, not need. Based on them wanting to be there for you, not feeling as though they have to be there for you, and sacrificing themselves in the process. And I have been guilty of this so many times, when I have sacrificed my alignment and gone and supported somebody, not because it was what was right for me to do for me at the time, but because I had this notion that when you're in trouble, I support you, and when I'm in trouble, you support me. The problem with that is what happens if I'm not able to support you? What happens if I'm literally crumbling as well, or literally just, you don't even have to have a big reason for it. If you don't feel like it's the right thing for you to do, then don't do it. Because your inner being can see far and wide. They can see what is best for you and what is best for that person. And sometimes being there for somebody is robbing them from the chance of themselves to go inwards and to get the real support, to get it's better support. Going within and connecting with the divine is better support than connecting with your best friend or your mum. Your spirit, your inner self, your source can give you so much more love and perspective and knowingness than anyone else in your life. And so when I would give from this place of duty and responsibility and expectation, I got burnt out, and then I projected my frustration onto the people that I helped, because when then I needed their help, they couldn't be there for me. Can you see the mismatch in that? And it's not their fault, it's mine. Well, it's no one's fault, but it was my choice. We all have choices. And by having this codependent expectation on each other, we will eventually disappoint each other. But not only that, if we are only relying on people for our source of peace and our source of love and just support, then we're going to be let down eventually, and we're also not strengthening that inner relationship that we have with ourselves. So that brings me to my next part of the video, and that is, how do you connect with your inner self? How do you do that? How do you do that when your thoughts are racing, and when you're grieving, and when you're scared? What do you do? Well, the best thing to do is to actually get ahead of that. Try not to let it get to that point. Catching it early is essential, and I'm sure you've all heard of that. Prevention is cure. It's better than cure, and that's so true. And that's something I've learned, is catching it early and recognizing those signs when you're about to have a freak out or a meltdown, and just being really in tune with your emotions and your body when those times arise. So, for example, I was on the phone to my mum. I was talking about this before, and she started telling me something about my nan, and I had just had a healing appointment, and I was feeling really good after this healing appointment, like really good. I always do. It's kinesiology, by the way. It's amazing. But so I was feeling really centered, and then Mum had called, and I was actually excited that she called me, because I'm like, oh, cool, I can call her and connect with her. And then I did, even though I actually had the niggle in myself saying like, oh, maybe not right this moment, maybe just enjoy this good feeling, because lately Mum and I's conversations have been centered around family dramas. Anyway, and so I took the call, even though the voicemail was, it didn't sound positive, but I was rushing into connecting with her. Anyway, and so I took the call, and when I took the call, I was not able to communicate very well. My whole body started to shake, and I felt overwhelmed, and so I ended the call very quickly. I apologized. I said, look, I just can't take the call right now, and I hung up. Mum was fine with it. Then I got on the ground, and what happens in those moments is your mind will start to run off into the gutters, and that's what you need to take a hold of. So you're faced with a challenging situation, and your emotions start to heighten, and you start to feel overwhelmed, and you want support. You want somebody to help you in that moment. The best thing that you can do is to take a hold of your mind and separate who you are from the thoughts that you are having. So you can envision a dog barking at you. That can be your mind. Or you can envision that you're on a horse, and the horse is your mind, and you've let go of the reins, and the horse is now going in its own direction. So whatever your visualization you want to choose, you can have the dog, and then you can tell the dog to sit and be quiet. And you take authority. You take authority over your mind and you say, stop it. And you realize that the mind is creating stories and there's emotion behind it. So there's like this, like a fuel, like momentum is starting to build because there's like heightened emotions and the thoughts are starting to go. So you separate yourself from your mind, because your mind is a tool. It's a powerful tool if you can use it properly. And letting it tell you stories that are going to make you scared and fearful and angry and depressed and grief and all those things, letting it run off into the bushes with that is not taking authority over your mind. It is letting you drag you around by a chain, and it's not sustainable. And so you take authority of your mind. You're like, sit, no. And you ideally get outside. If you can, get outside under a open sky, feet on the ground if you can. I like to lay on the ground. I like to immerse myself in nature, but it really depends where you are. Even just finding a quiet place and tuning into your breath in and out, and not giving attention to those thoughts and stories that you were just thinking, and recognizing that that is all they are. They are thoughts and they are stories and they are not the truth. Then you remember who you are, and remembering why we are here, and that life is eternal, and that we never die. Our spirit never dies, especially when this heightened emotion is coming from fear of death or fear of losing a loved one. Reminding yourself who you are, and that you are an eternal being, and that nothing is going wrong, and that everything is always going to be okay, and that every single one of us are going to re-emerge into the non-physical realm. And remember that, it was just a dream. It's a physical dream that we can enjoy a lot, but when it comes to feelings of fear and doubt and like grief and permanent loss and all these silly things that we all think about, that's not the truth. It's not the truth. This is a temporary life that we are living, a temporary physical expression, a temporary character that we have adopted down here. And we are down here to enjoy ourselves and to express love to each other and create the lives that we want for the joy of it. But we didn't come down here to suffer. Yes, we came down here to find preferences, and we do that by recognizing, I like that, I don't like that. But that's just choice making, that's preferences. We didn't come down here to live in hell on earth. We have creative control, and a lot of us have gone actually through that, but we are evolving as humans. I don't know if you've noticed, but ever since 2012, the positivity has started to exponentially expand. There was a tipping point in 2012 where the world was mostly negative up until 2012, and then it started to flip. And so it was like an even point at 2012, and now we are starting to be more positive than negative. And I know those of you that watch the news may not think so, but maybe that's why you should stop watching the news. It only gives you the bad shit. So remembering who you are, why we're here, and that life is eternal, and that nothing actually needs to be that big of a deal unless you let your mind drag you off on its leash, and you're holding on to the leash and you're just getting yanked around. That's what it felt like for me when I was younger, like in my teenage years and my 20s, my early 20s especially. I felt like I was getting yanked around. One thought would drag me here and one thought would drag me here, and it was just this like never-ending cycle of finding everything that could go wrong and everything that was going to hurt me in a way. So taking hold of your mind and recognizing that it is not who you are, and that is a tool that you can use, is key in helping yourself come out of those states of like high emotion, but catching it early. As soon as you start to feel your emotions shift in a negative way, take a hold of your mind right then and there and be like, whatever story you're talking about right now isn't in alignment with my inner being's point of view. And so stop it, sit, stay. Good. And you take authority. You take authority over that barking dog. It does not control you. You have creative control, and you can take authority over that mind. You can always take authority over your mind. Believing that is essential in doing it. If you don't believe that you can take a hold of your mind, then you won't be able to. So you need to remember that your belief system plays a huge impact on what you think you're able to do. So if you have a belief that you can't do that, start to soften that. Start to think about it in a better way, and show yourself in little ways that you can control your mind, that you can take authority over it. And that's where meditation practices really come in handy, by just training your mind to stop the chatter when things aren't stressful. Like, because normally we do meditation on a daily practice, and it's about learning to take a hold of your mind. That's what it all is about. And dropping, once you let go of the mind, the magic in this world is insane. And you can have a better recognition of the divine when you are able to let go of that mind chatter. So it's incredibly important. So once you take a hold of your mind, remember who you are, and get out into nature if you can, and just receive from your spirit, receive from the non-physical realm. And once you find that place of calm, I promise you, you will find that they will send you an impulse to go do something that will support you. And that's the thing, is that so many of us get into this like, oh my God, state where it's just like the world is ending, and then we start making choices from that state. Like, I'm going to call this person, and if they can't answer, then I'm going to hate that person. And then, oh my God, you just start to create drama in your life because you have started to take action from a place that isn't really true to who you are. You are not made from fear. You are made from love. You do not need to grieve your loved ones because they are not gone. They are not dead. You can access them. We never truly die. The only thing that dies is our physical form, this body. Their spirit still lives on. Learn to take a hold of your mind. Learn to mold your beliefs into what you want so that you can access their energy whenever you want. Cut the ties from the people in your life and build the ties with the non-physical and the divine. It's there anyway. You just have to remember it. That connection, those ties, that cord that binds you to the non-physical realm, to the center of the earth, that grounds you to everything that is, it's actually already there. You don't even have to build it. All you have to do is remember that it is there, and it will show itself to you in beautiful, huge ways. The peace that you can experience is something that no other human can give to you. Go within, learn who you really are, and remember, we are eternal, and you have the ability to take a hold of your mind. Thank you so much for watching this video. For any of you who are wanting one-on-one coaching, please email me. My details are in my bio. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel. So much love and appreciation for you all. Have an amazing day.